Hi, I'm Professor Steve Gedeon, and today I'm coming from the Residence Palace in downtown Munich. This is the winter home of the Kings of Bavaria in Munich, Germany. And today I'm going to be giving you tool number 3, talking about how to assess your personality, beliefs, and interests. So there's a lot of different possible career paths that anyone can have in a lifetime. And in fact, the average person has 5 to 7 career changes in their lifetime. Over 30% of people change their jobs every 12 months on average. And the fact is that your core interests, your skills, and your personality are actually ideal for a wide range of different and diverse and sometimes surprising careers. An example is my ex-wife, Marianne, had a PhD in philosophy, and she was looking for a career change, and she took some various career placement tests. I think she used What Color Is Your Parachute was an example of it. Do What You Love was a book that she had read. And she discovered that she would be perfect as either a librarian or a records manager or information science, working for the FBI, a criminologist, or a computer programmer. And at first she thought, well, this doesn't make any sense. But when you looked at what some of her key skills and aptitudes and interests were, she was very detail-oriented, and she liked working with information, and she was very logical. And so a lot of these diverse careers actually made a lot of sense for her. Now, how do you discover some of these different potential careers? Well, one possibility is you just get lucky. You find something that you love and it just happens to work out just through serendipity or being alive in the world around you. Most people discover what they want by testing, by exploration, by discovery and search. If they do something that doesn't work, they try something else that doesn't work, they try something else, and oh wow, this I happen to love. But do you love everything about that job, or maybe there are other alternatives to improve even more? So exposure and experience and discovery is an important tool, but it's a lot of work and it's a lot of risk taking on new things and gaining these portfolio of experiences. For most people, an important way to figure out what a great career would be discovering what makes you tick. And there's 3 different possible systems of thought around what makes us tick. Stimulus response, the behaviorists, subconscious programming, or proactive control over your own programming. So the first one is basically behaviorism. This is Pavlov's dog. This was a famous scientist that would feed dogs and ring a bell every time that he would feed these dogs, and then after a while he quit feeding them, but whenever he would ring the bell, the dogs would salivate. And so this was stimulus response, stimulus response. Whenever I ring the bell, the dogs would think food was coming and they would start to salivate. And so the behaviorists believe that we're just mysterious stimulus response beings, that things happen to us and we respond. The subconscious programming people think that, well, somehow your behaviors aren't caused by the stimulus, but they're caused by things that other people put in your heads. These, whether it's unchosen beliefs or unchosen attitudes or unchosen values, that somehow as you go through your life, you accumulate this lived experience, or that things become a part of you without your conscious control over them. And for most of these people, they believe that you are subconsciously programmed by your socioeconomic status, or your gender, or the color of your skin, or your country of birth. That basically your environment or your genes or your blood print themselves upon you, and all of your responses or your behaviors are caused by this programming, and you're kind of sort of stuck with it and you can't change it. You're a product of your environment or your skin or your genes or your genitalia. Now, the single biggest, most robust and theoretically proven framework in human psychology is the theory of planned behavior. This is also based on the theory of reasoned action. This says that human beings have agency. Human beings are proactive shapers of their own beliefs. They're proactive choosers of their own values and interests, and they proactively choose their goals or their intent, and that this drives their behavior. That your behaviors are proactively chosen by you, and that human beings act on the environment rather than only the environment acting on us and us responding to it. So humans act and shape the environment around them based on chosen beliefs, attitudes, values, and goals. Now, what are these core beliefs that we're talking about here? Now, these are deeply held, usually non-verbal beliefs that are core to us, but have very powerful effects on our values and on our goals. And so they tend to be held in very short, kind of pre-verbal phrases that take a while to get at. So sometimes you can measure these using some of the tests that I'm going to show you in the workbook. Sometimes you go through therapy in order to have other people help you figure out. We often use the 5 whys. Why did that happen? Why did that happen? So this is what your core belief is. But we tend to hold these core beliefs in these short phrases like, it's important to understand things, or it's important for people to like me, or it's important to have a lot of friends, or it's important to think for myself, or my life is important, or, well, life is unfair, or I deserve to be happy, or technology is confusing and dangerous, and that's why I don't like to learn new things, and I don't like to figure out new things, or I don't like new technologies, or stem cells, or stem cell research, or nuclear power, or GMO. Oh, technology's scary. The world is a scary place. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Or, my favorite, life sucks and then you die. These core beliefs tend to revolve around self-esteem. I am good or I am bad. Other people are good or bad. Or the world itself is metaphysically good or bad. Is the world a scary place, or is the world your oyster and I can go out and find something wonderful in the world today? This also deeply involves the internal or external locus of control, whether you're in control of your life or whether God, fate, destiny, or the stars have control over your life. These drive your attitudes and your values. And again, these tend to be held in short phrases, if at all, such as, I'm a capable human being. And this is the idea of self-efficacy, that I believe that I can get things done. I believe that I'm good at things. I believe that I am efficacious and capable in the world around me. Or I am proactive. I enjoy working. I enjoy learning new things. I enjoy growing. I'm engaged in the things I'm doing. I'm frequently bored. I have strong preferences. I have strong favors. I have strong likes and dislikes, or nothing really impacts me. Nothing really gets me excited or happy. I like to surround myself with beauty, or I don't really care. One of the important things to know about values is there are values and there's also disvalues. So a value is a thing that attracts you to it, that you proactively say, I want these values, as opposed to disvalues are things that you're running away from or you're scared of. So a snake is a great example of a disvalue. You see a snake and say, I want to run away. You don't know what to do, you don't know where to go, but you know to flee from this. So this is very important when you're seeking a career. Are you running away from poverty and you have to have a job of some sort because you need to eat, but it doesn't give you direction? Or is there some value that's pulling you towards it and saying, well, yeah, I need money and I need to work, but there's this value, and if I do this thing that I'm excited about, I'll also get money out of it. So working out of necessity is not a path to happiness, whereas working because you're excited about a proactive, positive value, that's a great thing to get out of bed for in the morning. Finally, the third one is this idea of goals, that this is the single biggest predictor of positive performance, motivation, and satisfaction, both job satisfaction as well as personal levels of satisfaction. People who set goals achieve better results. Now, I know that goals tend to be something in the planning-based mindset. When you're on this side of the planning-based thing, that you need to have a firm goal that you're striving to achieve. But when you're searching, you still need goals as well too, but we refer to these as hypotheses. That I think this might be something that I want. Let me take some steps towards it and see whether I want to achieve that or not. So we still need goals, and goals are important, but goals aren't a millstone or an albatross around your neck that you have to do and that everything is based around achieving that goal versus I think this is a goal and I'm going to search to see if this is something that I'm interested in, or I hope to discover whether this is a positive goal for me. And so these goals are really more like hypotheses on the search side of things. We know that the bigger the goal, the greater the specificity, and the greater level of buy-in, the higher their performance. And we also know that higher goals, higher aspiration, give you better performance. Now this is ECLD tool number 9. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that right now. I want to focus primarily on values and beliefs because we're still in the divergent thinking phase of trying to discover some of the things that might be driving our positive values. So the real question for me to ask you, or for you to ask yourself, is are you a proactive person, and are you interested in taking control over your beliefs, values, and goals, and measuring them, discovering what they are, and deciding, do I like these, or maybe I want to change them? Or are you simply a stimulus response, or are you just reacting to your emotional programming, that other people stuck things into your head, and, well, that's okay with you, you're just going to be that way for the rest of your life because you have no need to change or no interest in changing. So, tool number 3, discovering your beliefs, values, and interests. First of all, I want you to take several tests that I've listed in the workbook, and I've listed well over 20 different tests. I've listed tests related to personality, career, personality, career interests, beliefs, and values. And so I suggest that you take a variety of tests on each of these different indicators. So maybe take 2 or 3 personality tests, 1 or 2 beliefs and values kinds of tests, maybe a couple of career interest tests. There's no right or wrong answers to these things. This is just fuel for your divergent exploration of possible futures that might be of interest to you. Create a bunch of post-it notes in order to capture your key insights and your key discoveries. You might want to consider using different color post-it notes, maybe one color for your career interest tests, maybe a different color for your personality tests, and maybe a third color for some of your beliefs or value kinds of assessments that you've done. Then those are your divergent thinking things. You're looking for a good number of post-it notes. I usually look for at least 15 or 20 different post-it notes in the divergent phase. Now we're moving into the convergent phase. We're looking for patterns. We're looking for cluster some of the indicators that you found. Maybe 3 different tests give you similar aspects of yourself, whereas some tests might conflict with each other and say, this test said this, but this other test said something different. Well, that's interesting. What's going on there? So you're looking to cluster things that are similar, separate things that are different, and then maybe add some new post-it notes or some common themes. Then you can use some 2x2 matrices. And there's a variety of these as well, and I don't want to prescribe to you exactly what to do, but you might want to consider things that you think are personally important to you versus things that might be more important for a career. Or maybe you might want to say this is something you knew about yourself versus something you didn't know about yourself, or something important but was surprising. You want to capture your learning with some kind of a reflection, and finally document your process and take photographs of your work. And as in all the other ones, please upload your assignments to D2L at least 24 hours in advance if you would like me to provide you public feedback. And be sure that you know that this is an open public sharing thing, that if I'm talking about this with other people, that you're giving me permission to do that. Well, thanks for joining again today. Remember, entrepreneurship is like learning how to play the guitar. Have passion. Find things that you're excited about. Crank it up to 11.